Hello, everyone. I am Brooklyn Summers, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how businesses serve society to maximize profits. So, I'm going to be taking you through my personal experience, the theory that I've chosen, and then relating the two together, as well as some takeaways in the end. So, a few years back, I was working at J.C. Penney at our local store here in Altoona as a sales associate. And we got an offer from Make-A-Wish. This little girl wanted the ultimate shopping experience, and I was fortunate enough to be her personal shopper for the day. So they pulled up in a limousine, this little girl, her mom, her dad, and her older and younger brother. Now, I'll have to mention to you this was Make-A-Wish. She was in a wheelchair, so if that gives you an idea of the circumstances that this little girl was in. So we took her over and showed her how we decorated her own fitting room for her. We also showed her some of the pieces that we had already pulled. We got some information from Make-A-Wish versus her favorite color, style she was looking for, and also some sizes we could have pre-pulled for her. Now, as we were talking, I noticed this just grand smile on her face the entire day, and especially trying on all these clothes. Her mom was in the dressing room helping her. She would come out and show her dad and her brothers each outfit. One outfit she loved so much. She ended up wearing it the entire day. We were able to send her home with lots of cute clothes that she had picked out. Did have some extra time, so we were able to take her upstairs to our salon. She was able to get her hair curled, also get some pink hair chop, which is very, very, very temporary hair color. Pink being her favorite color, she went with that. We still had some extra time, so we took her downstairs to Sephora, where she got some eyeshadow put on. Again, pink. I remember her leaving that day with an even bigger smile on her face than what she did coming into the store. And it was a very, very, very fortunate experience for me. Now, moving on to the characteristics of JCPenney and Make-A-Wish is the characteristic of corporate social responsibility and how it could increase profits of a company and positively affect their image to the public. The problem is that some companies, unlike JCPenney and Make-A-Wish, don't know the difference between maximizing profits and simply making a profit. This is the ethical basis for the maximization assumption of profits. Here are the mission statements of JCPenney and Make-A-Wish, both from their individual websites. I directly took this from. This is just to give you an idea of the characteristics and how these companies are truly trying to focus on corporate social responsibility. JCPenney. We believe that the values of loyalty, passion, courage, and service define who we are and how we serve our customers. Make-A-Wish serves a unique and vital role in helping strengthen and empower children battling critical illnesses. Moving on to the theory that I've chosen, the hypothesis here is from Harry Hoff. He felt that the typical business reversed the order of priority in fulfilling its societal role. So most businesses at this time thought that they should maximize earnings and thereby serve society. Whereas in contrast, Hoff believed that a business should serve society and thereby maximize their earnings. The main assumption and argument of this was simply structure follows strategy, meaning that in effective organizations, structure is adjusted to suit strategies rather than strategies modified to match established structures. The prominent variable that Hoff did study was ophthalmology. Hoff defined the optimum as, and I quote from page 229 of our text, that state of development of a business enterprise which trends to perpetuate an equilibrium between the factors of size, cost, and human capacity, and thus to promote in the highest degree regular realization of the business objectives. End quote. The prominent works of this era was Alfred D. Chandler's book, Strategy and Structure, which was published in 1962. This was a profound influence on the study of business policy. Thus, being the major findings was business policy transitioning into strategic management, and subsequently the phrase global strategy emerged in recognition of a changing worldwide competitive environment. But there is a question at hand that still goes unanswered, and that is, if markets are so efficient in allocating resources, why do business firms exist? Well, I encourage you to make your own conclusions about this question and unanswered question at hand. But I will tell you that I have come to the conclusion through my research that businesses should exist to maximize profits and maximize experiences for their employees, their shareholders or stakeholders, as well as their customers, their competition, and ultimately the public eye. Now, in relating these two together, looking historically, companies operated by serving a public purpose, which is compared to today's companies focusing on maximizing profits and the bottom line. Now, looking at JCPenney and Make-A-Wish, they are here to serve others to maximize their profits. The answer to the questions you may have going on this is corporate social responsibility and the impact on the relative market that the particular company is in. For example, JCPenney being in the retail market, or also department store market if you want to look at it that way. But also the social implications that the company decides to partake in. Thus being for JCPenney, Make-A-Wish, the opportunity that they had with Make-A-Wish. I also urge researchers to explore a new direction of corporate social responsibility communication. Thus being the problem, the lack of communication, and the need for businesses to communicate more effectively to stakeholders, customers, and employees. I remember when this was happening, this Make-A-Wish function happening at JCPenney, none of the public was informed that this was going to be happening. Nor, I recall, a lot of the associates had no idea that Make-A-Wish was coming that day. They had no idea that I was, being a personal shopper for a little girl's wish. The point is communicating. Now, there was an Altoona Mirror article that was given later in the week, but it was past the time. Even though it looked great in the article, we really needed to effectively communicate that idea to the public to thus maximize profits. Now, moving forward, the theory of serve society to maximize profits transitioned into corporate social responsibility. And that situation has dictated companies from moving from this idea to fully integrating towards strategic management and corporate governance. So, my final thoughts here are just some thoughts about the idea of research in the future. And that is how companies should stop focusing on maximizing profit, even though that is a very good thing for a company to do. Companies need to start focusing on how they can maximize value for shareholders, customers, and employees. I did learn a lot through this assignment, and I'm very thankful that I could learn that there is not always one way to run a successful company, but it is certainly rewarding to give back to the community. And I was very fortunate enough to experience this firsthand through JCPenney and Make-A-Wish. I was not able to maximize a lot of profits that day. I remember doing exactly 0 transactions that day, but I was able to serve society and I was able to make a little girl's wish of having the ultimate shopping experience come true. And that was the biggest takeaway for me. I want to thank you so very much for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned just as much as I did about how businesses should first serve society to then maximize profits. Here are a list of my references that I used. And here are the references continued. Thank you.